Security. Exogen is working.
One.
The mayor of Dayton calls corruption allegations against her baseless and untrue. Andrew Kinsey with ONN affiliate WBNS TV in Columbus has more.
Federal court documents were recently unsealed from the FBI. The probe looked into whether she might have been given money as a bribe back in 2013, while a Dayton city commissioner, Whaley, said she never knew she was under investigation and says nothing was taken. The governor was asked about Nan Whaley's corruption allegations and said he knew nothing about it. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
One man is dead, another injured after they were shot overnight just northwest of downtown Toledo. 2 people were shot at a residence and rushed to the hospital. Police say 20-year-old Avante Adams died of his injuries. A 26-year-old man is in critical condition. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly, here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
As the world gets back on track, now's the time to look forward and make bold, life-changing decisions. If you're ready to complete your college degree or pursue your master's like an MBA, Ohio Dominican University offers a range of innovative programs that match your goals. And with both fully online and on-campus evening formats available, pursuing your degree at ODU also fits your life. Classes are forming now. Get started at ohiodominican.edu. That's ohiodominican.edu.
Hey there, what are you doing today? Would whatever it is be easier with faster, more reliable home internet? If you said yes, we have good news. Viasat offers high-speed satellite internet wherever you live, even if cable providers don't go there. So you can get online today and tomorrow. Go to Viasat.com/internet now and save up to $150 on select home plans. That's Viasat.com/internet now. Minimum 24-month service term. Service is not available in all areas. See Viasat.com for additional terms and conditions.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I'm loving living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I'm loving living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Morning sun and clouds give way to a few afternoon scattered showers and storms. A daytime high near 73. Overnight, mainly clear. Temperatures near 52 for the low. Then looking towards your Friday, a mix of sun and clouds through the day, a high near 73. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program
are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
You're early.
Roger that.
It's Thursday.
Why even call it Thursday? Problem? We have pizza on Thursday.
Places, please. Quiet down.
Here's a complete disc jockey show with all the modern pace of today's exciting radio.
Good morning.
Just get started.
Seriously.
Let's go.
It's showtime.
News, information, conversation, controversy, and fun. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
And we are off on a Thursday. 60 to, well, we're off, kind of like off base, off kilter, off our minds every day, but I mean, we're off and running. We're off on a Thursday. 60 degrees and foggy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 61 degrees foggy at my home studios here in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 60 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Mixture of sun and clouds today, maybe a few stray showers during the day, later today, right around 72 for the high today. Biff, have you really felt like fall the last couple of days?
A little bit. I mean, there were signs of it, but it doesn't feel. And I know we're not officially in the fall, but it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it. I mean, we've been getting bits and pieces of it throughout this week, and I think even part of last week. But it's right around the corner.
It's felt like fall to me. It's just kind of that gray, overcast, cool days. We sat out on the deck in the evening a couple of nights ago, and it was clearly, you almost could have put a sweater on it. Not quite, but you almost could have put a sweater on it. It felt really cool. Yesterday it was cool, and plus it was raining yesterday. It's like Labor Day came, and the calendar has turned, and now summer is behind us. And for the first time, and I wept a bit. I'll be honest, I wept them up. A little tear came right down my face like that. Drove past the Wheeling Park pool yesterday, Biffy. You know what?
Water gone?
No water. Oh, it was so sad. Pool at Ogilvy still has water in it because this weekend, I believe, they used to call it Drool in the Pool. Now they're calling it Paws in the Pool. I think that's because it's sponsored by Dirty Paws. But Dirty Paws is sponsoring Paws in the Pool this weekend at Ogilvy, so you can bring your dogs up and let them flop around in the pool. But Wheeling Park closed. I knew it was closed, but the water was out. Oh, I just hung my head and shed a little tear. I'll tell you something else I shed a tear for yesterday, Biff. They tore down a critical part of the days of my youth. The Rose Cafe in Martins Ferry was torn down this week. Rose Cafe was probably before your time, Biffy, right? I mean, you were never at the Rose Cafe. I think it was closed up as a restaurant long before you would have been around. Am I right? You don't remember the Rose Cafe, do you?
No, I don't.
Rose Cafe was in Martins Ferry. It was owned by Benny, can't think of Benny's last name, for a long time. And then my good friend Boyer Simcox owned it for a while. And when Boyer owned it, man, it was it was home base, I'll tell you, pal. I would often, as soon as I get off the air, head right up to Rosie's and hang out there. I had new owners come to town one time. Guys just bought the radio station. They wanted to meet with me and another guy that was one of our key employees, and kept setting up meetings, and we'd never make them. Finally, they showed up at the Rose Cafe. They said, well, we ask around, and we understand if we want to meet with you people, we have to come to you here at the Rose Cafe. I mean, it was home base. There was a show called Lunch Talk, which we did for a long, long time. It actually started out at the, what's now the Hampton Inn. The Hampton Inn and Undo's in St. Clair's was a share at the time. We started the show there. It was an hour-long live broadcast from the hotel where we had guests and stuff. It was just a live remote. It was fun. We called it Lunch Talk. And then eventually we moved it to Rosie's, and we were every Friday at Rosie's for lunch talk, and man, just good food and beverages, and had a good time. I met my wife at the Rose Cafe. I met Nancy at the Rose Cafe. In fact, a couple of years ago for an anniversary gift, I had a little pillow engraved. It all began at the Rose Cafe, and it sits in our living room. So it was just a big part of, and there were things that happened in there, Biffy, that we'll never talk about on the radio. You understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
You're never not gonna talk about it. No, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Good restaurant, nice bar. On a Friday or Saturday night, it'll be packed, all the way around. The restaurant side would be really full. They had a nice buffet. Had langostinos, lobster on it, and beef, and so good, man. Anyway, they tore it down this week. It's not been a restaurant for a long time. Boyer sold it and moved out of town quite some time ago. I'm still talking with Boyer. He actually he runs one of these little it's an FM radio station. What's the word they call it, Bippy? It's not low power radio station out of Byesville, Ohio, and which he got the call letters of WOMP for, by the way, because for some reason, the people who owned the radio station on the hill that I worked at for all those years, they gave up those great call letters, WOMP. So Boyer bought them. So his little low-power radio station is WOMP. I think he plays oldies and country music and stuff. Anyway, so Boyer moved out of town a long time ago and was involved in social services over in the Cambridge area and so on. But they tore it down this week. They tore it down. That's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It's part of the ongoing tear down of old blighted buildings in Martins Ferry, and I give them credit for that. They're tearing down some of the old blighted stuff and trying to clean the town up. The Rose Cafe had been nothing more than just a crumbling shell at that point. But man, I looked at the picture in the paper yesterday, and it was sad. It was sad for me, Biffy, because it was a critical part of not just my grown up, my adulthood. Like I said, I met my wife there, for heaven's sakes, and did many other things there, some of which my wife probably shouldn't know about. So it was, anyways, it was a sad day. I shed a tear. So that was 2 tears I shed yesterday. I shed 1 tear, 1 little drop down for the closing of the draining of the pool at Wheeling Park. And then another tear on the other side of my face. It came down for the raising of the Rose Cafe. It did send me back though. At my age, I do a lot of reminiscing, Biff, because I can't do a lot of stuff. All I can do is think about all the stuff I used to do. Man, used to do some good stuff at the Rose Cafe and eat some good food too, and drink lots of beer. And it was a good time. A good time was had by all. Not everybody. But those are stories I can't tell either. So I think I'll go Forrest Gump and say that's about all I'm going to say about that. But anyways, Rosie loves you was the line that we used to always use. Boyer used. It was an advertising line. Rosie loves you. I guess now it's Rosie loved you. Rose Cafe torn down. All right, 7:18 after the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. So, what have we got today? Well, we're going to continue our 9/11 coverage. Saturday is officially the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We have a lot of coverage of that. We're continuing. Former Congressman Bob Ney, as I mentioned to you earlier this week, narrowly missed being in the World Trade Center on 9/11. Bob and I were both at a party in D.C. thrown by Ellen Ratner, and it quite literally saved his life. Bob Ney was the congressman in charge of the Capitol Police and communications among the congressmen on 9/11 and in the immediate aftermath. We're going to hear some of those stories. And Bob was one of only a very, very, very few congressmen to vote against the Patriot Act. You might remember after 9/11, the Patriot Act gave great, wide-ranging authority to the intelligence community to investigate things, maybe some say to pry too deeply into people's lives and so on. Bob voted against it, one of only a few to do so. So we'll talk about all of that with former Congressman Bob Ney coming up later on this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. And he has some tremendously interesting stories to tell about that day on Capitol Hill. Also, ABC News continues its 9/11 retrospective. 2 more installments of our 5-part series on 9/11, looking back and looking at what has happened since then. That'll continue today here on the Watchdog Morning Show. West Virginia's COVID czar, Clay Marsh, says the Delta variant is now out of control and cannot be stopped. How's that for something to think about? Meanwhile, President Biden unveils a new COVID plan today. We'll have a complete COVID update coming up next here with the latest numbers and more on the Watchdog Morning Show. And Wheeling Council created this week an entertainment endowment fund. The idea is to help attract better shows to the Capitol Theater and Westbanco Arena. If you read some of the social media posts over the last few years, you hear people saying, well, we used to get better shows to Arena than we do now. Why don't we get any good shows here anymore? And there actually is a reason for that we don't get certain kinds of shows. We're going to talk to Frank O'Brien from the Convention and Visitors Bureau about why we don't get better shows, about why we get the shows we do get, and what this new endowment fund, entertainment endowment fund, is going to be all about. So that's coming up today here on the Watchdog Morning Show as well. If you have something on your mind you want to share with me, please use our text line, 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. Happy to hear from you on the text line, or the CityNet hotline, 304-232-8255, 304-232-TALK, and I'm happy to hear from you. Now, Delta is running wild. It's running wild to the point that we can't stop it. It's like a wildfire that now has to just burn itself out. That's the analogy Clay Marsh used yesterday. That's pretty frightening. The COVID update coming up next here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
Hi, it's Hoppy Kercheval inviting you to join me weekdays, 10 till noon for statewide.
No, COVID is fine. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep.
Gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Update your home with new siding. Timbercrest premium double 4-inch vinyl siding is 15% thicker than standard vinyl siding and designed to have a real cedar look. Right now, all Timbercrest vinyl siding is 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 11th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kercheval. West Virginia, in many ways, is a diverse state, often with different issues, challenges, and successes depending on where you live. But we're also a small state, and we're all connected by being West Virginians. Every day from 10:06 till noon, I talk about and provide insight into the events that shape who we are. My approach is tough but fair, and we may disagree, but together we'll stay abreast of what's going on in our great state. Successes, the hardships, the challenges, and of course the politics that contribute to making us who we are. So join me weekdays, 10:06 till noon for Metro News Talk Line.
He rambles, he rants.
And sometimes he sings. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
COVID-19 update.
Yes, time to look at those numbers again and some really frightening words from the COVID czar in West Virginia. First of all, the so-called color-coded map of COVID in the Mountain State. 44 counties out of our 55 are now red. 44 counties are in the red. 0 counties are in the green. Ain't no green, no mo, no mo. There ain't no green, no mo. Ohio and Hancock counties in the Panhandle are orange. Ohio and Hancock are orange. The rest of the Panhandle is red. And again, virtually the entire state, 44 out of 55 counties in West Virginia are now red on the color-coded map. Yesterday, the COVID czar in West Virginia, Dr. Craig Marsh, said that there is no turning back now. He says that, and I'm quoting here Dr. Clay Marsh, the Delta variant has entered the explosive growth stage. He likened our current situation to a brush fire. It starts small, it grows, it turns into a wildfire. Dr. Marsh says the fire consumes more and more and more of the forest, creates one raging fire. That, he says, is what I believe we're experiencing right now in West Virginia. Now, Governor Justice spends his entire time, I beg you, I plead you, you got to go get a vaccine. And Dr. Marsh says he strongly recommends the vaccination, but he says we have now passed the stage where that's going to stop it. Dr. Marsh yesterday said vaccination can no longer get us out of the surge. It has already started, and it will need to consume itself out. Like a wildfire that there is no amount of water that's going to put it out. There's nothing we can do but let the wildfire that is Delta variant COVID work its way through West Virginia. That, Biff, to me, is a frightening thought. We can't do anything about it. Could have done something about it if people have gotten vaccinated early on, and those who are vaccinated hopefully won't get consumed by this so-called wildfire of COVID, but it's going to spread. The National Institutes for Health Metrics and Evaluation says the greatest strain on hospitals in West Virginia will probably occur around September 26th. They predict the peak number of daily deaths in West Virginia will hit around September 28th. We'll probably see 30 people or so die per day right around there. But the people who do these modelings, and it's just projections, I certainly understand that, but the projections are, it is possible we could be looking at a worst case scenario of 56 deaths a day late September into mid-October. Now, the National Institute for Health says those numbers could be held down a little bit, not eliminated, but held down with a universal mask mandate. Scary words from Dr. Marsh and from the National Institute of Health. Let's see, some numbers for you. 3,169 COVID deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. 818 COVID hospitalizations just yesterday. 677 of those, 83%, are unvaccinated patients. 252 COVID patients are in intensive care. That is way past the previous high. Of those, 90% were unvaccinated. And 132 COVID cases are people now on ventilators. Ventilators, way above the previous high of 104. Of those 132 people on ventilators, 92% are unvaccinated. Those are scary numbers, Biff. And the point is, although Dr. Marsh says we can't stop the spread of Delta now, you can protect yourself still with a vaccination. Get vaccinated.
It'll be 4 months in about the middle of this month for me.
Did you get COVID or Moderna? I mean, Pfizer or Moderna?
I got.
No, you did not get COVID.
No.
Please do not misunderstand what I said, people. I did not say Biff got COVID. That was a mistake. Monroe made a mistake. Did you get Pfizer or Moderna?
I got the Moderna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the booster situation is going to be on Moderna. It still looks like September 20th. That's the date that they're saying Pfizer boosters will be available for everybody. That's not a definite. That still has to be officially approved by the CDC and others. But Moderna, I think, is still a little bit up in the air. I hope it does. I hope Moderna does get approved. I was Moderna, and I am at the 6-month mark, so I should be able to get a booster shot. And I probably will before we go on vacation. But
should you wait? I mean, is it 6 or 8 months between, like, when you get the booster, or does it depend on, because I've seen some that said, well, 6 is good, but then if you wait, make it 8 just to be safe. I mean, have they actually?
That's a good question, and I think I understand this, but I want to say I'm not 100% sure here. And actually, they haven't really put out guidelines yet anyways. But my understanding is you should get the booster after 8 months after your last shot. However, if you have a compromised immune system, you can get it sooner. But you make a really good point, Biffy. Everybody says, oh, I want that booster, I want that booster, I want that booster. If you get the booster too soon, it may not be helpful to you. It may not boost you the way you think you will. So we'll have to wait and see they're still doing some testing on this. And we'll have to wait and see when the final decision is made. And I don't think they're going to make a decision until is it next week, the following week, just a day or two before the 20th, which is when they're supposedly, again, right now, the sort of unofficial day for being able to get boosters is the 20th of this month. But that decision has not yet been made, has been finalized. So, we'll see. And then I worry, pardon me, folks, it's one of those mornings, got the frog in my throat. I worry, Biff, about, let's assume, and it's only assumption, let's assume that on the 20th, everybody can get a booster shot. And, of course, you have to have some period of time. You can't just have gotten one 2 months ago and get it again. You probably would be a little bit early for yours, Biff. But remember when we first started getting vaccines, it was kind of rolled out first the really sick, the very elderly, then eventually got down to 65, and then a couple weeks later was 55, and so on and so forth. So things kind of happen in stages. When the booster becomes available, I think everybody could, once the decision is made what day you can get it, everybody who's eligible can get it on the same day, 65, 75, 25, 35. So I'm worried about there being a real jam up of people wanting booster shots. I mean, that could be a real problem.
I'll probably wait because either way, I'm still short. If it's 6 months, it'll be November. If it's 8, I gotta wait till January anyway. So,
well, you are first place. You're right. You're only 4 months into it. So again, the point of the booster is that it's conceivable after a period of time, the efficacy of the vaccine begins to lessen a little bit. It's part of the reason why we get a flu shot every year. We don't just get one flu shot and that's it. I'm flu safe forever. You get a flu shot every year because you need a little booster. So number one, I think you're right, Biff. You don't want to. 4 months is not enough time. And number two, Biff, let's be honest with you, you're a young, healthy guy. All right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's why I said if they say 6 months is okay, then okay. I'll November. If they say not and wait a little more, that's fine. I'll just wait until January. But whenever.
Yep. The CEO over at Wheeling Hospital, WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital, Doug Harrison, issued a statement yesterday basically saying, help us. We're getting full. We're getting crowded. The emergency room, the ICU, the urgent cares, we all are very, very, very busy because of the COVID problems. And so he's asking the people to, quote, do their part. Among other things, he says, you don't always have to go to if you have a problem you think requires medical attention, certainly get it taken care of. You don't always have to go to the ER. WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital has a number of different places around town. They've got their downtown facility in the old Stones building. There's a facility in Woodsdale. There's some other places around town. And that's just Wheeling Hospital. Of course, Reynolds has their own. So Doug Harrison says, help us out. We are getting full. We are having a terrible time, keeping things under control. And he, of course, again, encouraged people to get the vaccine. And again, I want to go back to the first part of my COVID report. Dr. Marsh says he doesn't think we can stop the spread of COVID. West Virginia now is the #1 state for spread of COVID. The COVID is spreading faster in this state than in any other state in the nation. And apparently Dr. Marsh says it's reached a point where it is going to grow. We can't stop it. But it doesn't mean you can't individually make yourself better by getting a vaccination. So get vaccinated. I sound like the governor here. Oh, I don't want to sound like the governor. Lord of living, I'm telling you, you're going to die if you don't get the shot. You better get the shot. But he's right. I mean, the governor's right. I don't know that his begging does any good, but nor does mine probably, but get the vaccine. Been more and more pictures, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls are getting this. This is now down into the 12 and under range, Biffy. Certainly 18 and under. We're seeing those numbers even here in the local area. This is not just old people like me anymore, or even young strapping young adults like Biff anymore. It's into the kids now. I saw a statistic, I think it was nationwide, a little over 26% was the number I saw, of all current COVID case hospitalizations, kids. Saw a guy on CBS Evening News last night. He was a, big strapping man, Biffy, a man's man, right? And he's got kids. And he was crying on television. He said, why would people not want to protect their kids? Well, you not being vaccinated, it makes more of a danger for your kids. This guy was crying on national television because other people weren't getting vaccinated. Anyway, I guess it's not a lot of good news I've got for you there, but those are the COVID numbers and the COVID situation as we find ourselves in this morning here on a Thursday morning. 7:38, 22 till the hour. We're going to be talking with Zach coming up about the forecast. It's going to be a little bit rainy, a little bit cloudy, maybe some sun mixed in, sort of an everyday kind of day. It's still going to feel like fall, 72. So we'll check with Zach coming up in a minute or two. And a new report out on taxes. This is interesting. And people will now say, it's just because you're a liberal you say that, Howard. The worst tax cheats in America, Beth? The 1% wealthy. The wealthiest among us are also the biggest cheaters. New report out, give you some numbers. It's coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show, but why don't we check some Ohio Valley headlines from WTRF right now.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Thursday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your 7 News headlines. West Virginia now has the fastest acceleration rate for new COVID cases than any other state. There are currently more than 22,000 active cases here. Patients in ICU are at a record high, and the number of West Virginians hospitalized is also on track to break a record. About 1/4 of all new cases are children under 18. All of this is adding strain to an already overwhelmed healthcare system. Governor Justice continues to urge residents to get vaccinated. State health officials say it may take up to 2 weeks for this current surge to peak. WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital President and CEO Doug Harrison has responded to news released by the governor. He says, quoting now, "The emergency rooms, ICUs, and urgent cares are experiencing extremely high volumes. As we have stated time and time again, we are strongly encouraging everyone to do their part and get the COVID vaccine to help our hospitals during this very difficult time." End quote. For a full look at this statement, head over to WTRF.com. Looking over in Jefferson County, the Indian Creek Local School District is now issuing a temporary mask mandate. The new rule takes effect next Monday, despite showing low numbers in positive cases. School officials say they made the change to keep students healthy and also inside the classroom. Medical exemptions will be granted with a note from a physician. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
T.J. Watt returned to practice Wednesday. Watt practiced in pads with his teammates for the first time since the end of 2020. Let's hear from Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers.
Thought he looked good. He was engaged. He's been a full participant in walkthroughs and things of that nature. He's a smart guy. He can learn from watching others, and it's evident in watching him work today.
Remember, Watt is still without a contract extension. Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers' primetime quarterback, met with the media, and he had some advice for the front office concerning TJ and a brand new contract.
I think TJ should get whatever the heck he wants. He's arguably the best football player in the game right now, not just on defense, just in general. I've been through a few negotiations here with contracts. One of the reasons I took less money was for guys like him to get paid, and he needs to get paid.
Steelers visit the Buffalo Bills Sunday afternoon. Speaking of the NFL and a game, are you ready for the NFL regular season opener tonight? The Dallas Cowboys will visit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, Miguel Cabrera, a future Hall of Famer with Detroit, recorded 4 hits as his Tigers defeated the Pirates 5-1. Let's hear from manager Derek Shelton.
He's the best right-handed hitter I've ever seen. And, he had good swings. And tonight we didn't make bad pitches to him. I mean, I think he hit everything. He hit the fastball up, he hit a fastball in, he hit a curveball 0-0, and he hit a cutter for 4 hits. I mean, that shows you why he's such a good hitter.
Won't lose or win today. It's an off day for the 50 and 90 Pittsburgh Pirates. Bad news for the Penguins. Their star player and captain Sid Crosby will miss the start of the regular season after undergoing wrist surgery. He'll be out at least 6 weeks. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
The Watchdog prides itself in being involved in our community, and we want to hear from you. Does your organization have an event that you would like promoted on the radio? Please send us the details via our website, watchdognetwork.com. Just click on our contact page and fill the information. Live, local, and here for our community. Share your events with the Watchdog.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Coming up in the next hour, we'll continue our 9/11 remembrance, if you will. Bob Ney is going to join us. He was a congressman at the time of 9/11, 20 years ago, and was right in the thick of the action because the committee he was in charge of was also in charge of the Capitol Police and the communications that were occurring on Capitol Hill. Bob will have a lot of stories to share with us coming up in the next hour, plus our ABC 5-part documentary series on 9/11, remembering and looking forward, will continue next hour as well. That's all coming up. Right now, let's talk about the weather. Zach Petty is with us here this morning. Good morning, Zach.
Hey, good Thursday morning, Howard. How are you doing today?
Good, good. You know, I'm not sure. I got stuck in an absolute gully washer for only about 5 minutes yesterday.
Right.
And I was thinking about that little garden hose you told me we were going to get.
Well, I did say that there would be some pockets of heavier rain, but again, it was a very fast-moving cold front. So, like you said, 5 minutes, and then it started to kind of lighten up a little bit. So it happened.
I was with a friend of mine. We'd gone to Washington, Pennsylvania. Hey, Biff, by the way, Biffy, guess where I had lunch yesterday?
Where's that?
Popeyes.
Angelo's. Oh, Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Okay.
No, Angelo's is next on the list. No, we went to Popeyes. You know, I've said all along I've never been to Popeyes, never had their chicken, so went up and had fried chicken and popcorn shrimp from Popeyes. We'll talk about that later on. I just thought I would mention that too.
Okay.
So, but we were on our way back from Washington. And it's a gully washer. I mean, you couldn't, it just came down in sheets. Just a short period of time. You're right, Zach. But and then the scary thing, my friend says, yeah, my windshield wipers don't work.
Ooh.
Yikes. Should we pull off the road? No. He's doing one of those things where you lean forward and kind of look through the windshield, And he's going, no, yeah. I can see. We're okay. I can see. Oh, God help us.
You were probably holding on to the little handlebar, just saying, "Oh dear."
I had a couple of quick prayers there, but at any rate, it was short-lived, as you point out. So it was,
right.
Just a few minutes, and then it was over. We may get a few stray showers today too, right?
Yeah, but again, coverage-wise will be a lot less comparative to what we had yesterday with that well-defined cold front. Almost everyone got in on the rain action yesterday. As for today, not so much. It looks like just kind of the scattered pop-ups. Not so much the typical summertime thunderstorms that bubble up in the afternoon because of the peak heating and muggy air. We don't really have a whole lot of that to deal with this morning. It's actually kind of cool and crisp outside right now. Just a stray upper-level disturbance will be moving through, and there's a little moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere, so that could pop off an isolated shower. I don't expect to hear or see any rumbles of thunder, if not any thunderstorms, but some places all throughout the immediate southeastern Ohio, the Panhandle, and even into southwestern Pennsylvania could see some showers. Others could stay relatively dry. It's just kind of one of those wait and see who gets what rain days. And best time frame for that too, Howard. I'm saying anywhere between 2 to 6. There could be some a little earlier, right after the lunchtime hour. With again, my always reference for lunch is right around noon. So we can see stuff right after noon, going into the afternoon hours, if not right before dinner time.
We're going to stay in the 70s, low 70s today, next couple of days, actually, right?
Yeah, we're actually at your Goldilocks temperature for today, 72 degrees for your Thursday afternoon high temperature.
But that's 70, and that is you're right, that's my perfect temperature. But 72 with clouds and maybe an occasional shower.
It might, yeah. It might not
feels,
be the 72 you want.
Exactly right. I asked Biff earlier. I don't think I asked this yesterday. If I did, I apologize. I'll ask you again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think it's starting to feel like fall outside now? I know it's not, but it feels like fall.
It feels like there's the change, and I think ever since the remnants of Ida moved through, we were still talking about upper 80s for high temperatures. Ever since then, we finally had a little bit more of a dip in the jet stream up towards Canada. That's finally making its way down, and you kind of feel the sense that things are wanting to change. I'm actually working on a graphic for our web manager, John Lynch, downstairs about when the first frost is expected for areas of the Ohio Valley, so you'll have to tune into WTRF.com whenever we publish that. But you're just starting to feel the change in weather pattern, and I don't know if it's because you walk into your grocery stores and convenience stores and all the Halloween decorations are out and all the pumpkins are sitting around saying, "Hey, it's fall, it's fall time." It's like, well, it's still summer technically, but I won't get too technical with that, but. You can feel
the coffee shops. The coffee shops all have pumpkin spice latte or whatever. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't know if it's just now becoming where all of that is now kind of getting pushed down our throats in a sense that we're trying to make it feel more like that, especially since school started back up and everything. But it does have that feel. It just that feel, as SpongeBob would say. There's that feel, Mr. Krabs.
And. It was one of the saddest days of the year for me yesterday. I took a ride through Wheeling Park after we picked up my grandson. And he looked and he said, "Granddad, no water. The Wheeling Park pool has been drained." So it's that is just so. I get so excited in the springtime when the first time I see water in that pool. And as I told Biff, I shed a little tear yesterday when I saw no water in the pool. Speaking of pools, my wife said yesterday, she said, well, I guess, Jason, my son, will have to be closing up his backyard pool pretty soon. I said, I hope we can get at least one more maybe pool day in. Any shot of that coming up that you can see in the future where we might get one good day to hit the pool a last time?
Howard, I'm giving the forecast a double thumbs up for both Saturday and Sunday if you want to head out to the pool. Upper 70s, if not low 80s. Dew point temperatures might feel slightly sticky, but wall-to-wall sunshine is expected even through the day tomorrow. It'll still be a bit cooler tomorrow, but Saturday and Sunday, if the pools are still open, it looks absolutely perfect if you want to head out and get that final little dip in the pool just to cool off, because it'll be more reminiscent of summer with all the sunshine that we are expected to see back into the Ohio Valley, with those temperatures getting back into the lower 80s by Sunday, if not to the next work week. So try to convince your son to hold off just a couple more days, and then maybe he can drain it next week.
All right. And next week's going to get a little bit warmer too, right?
Yeah, we'll start to get back into the lower 80s. Maybe dew points will start to feel a bit more sticky as surface winds blow from the southwest. So we could look to some of that, maybe feeling a bit more like early summer. But we'll play it by ear. But certainly have the calendar circled for Saturday and Sunday being some pretty nice days throughout the region.
All right, I'm going to count on that, hopefully, as being the final dip in the pool day, because I want to get at least one more, one more dip in the pool. We'll mark that. But today is going to kind of feel like fall, mixture of sun and clouds, some stray showers, probably be kind of overcast a good bit of the day, and then 72. So it's going to have that fall feel. Or you're right, maybe it's not so much fall feel, it's just the changes in the air, as the song goes.
Right.
I have 60 at the airport, 61 at the home studios. I have not looked outside in the last half hour. Is there still fog out there?
There's some areas of fog, probably over towards your neighborhood, Elm Grove, Bethlehem, seeing some patchy fog around. Looking at the Ohio County traffic cams, we're continuing to see some areas of fog as well. But for the most part, it's actually starting to clear out, but there still could be some stray instances of reduced visibility. So just keep that in mind as you head out the door.
All right, sir. Appreciate it today. Enjoy the conversation. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thank you.
Sounds good. Enjoy it. Have a good one, guys.
It's Zach Petty from the Big 7, WTRF TV, checking in here on the Watchdog Morning Show, 6 before the hour. Biffy, I need a final break, yes?
No, we are good.
Oh, you did good. Okay, Biff always, I'm telling you, Biff is so efficient. You are so efficient, my friend, in getting these things done on time. I don't know if this next story comes as a surprise or not a surprise. But there's a new report released from the Bureau of the Treasury, the U.S. Treasury Department, on tax cheats. Now, I want to be clear. We're talking about cheats. We're not talking about people, Biffy, there's a difference between tax fraud and tax, what they call it, avoidance. All of us do the best we can to pay as little taxes as possible, right?
Tax evasion?
Tax evasion, thank you, yeah. There are people who, all of us, everybody tries to find any way we can to minimize legally our taxes. The wealthy have, of course, more loopholes, because if you have more money to spend on loopholey things, you can do that. But I'm talking here about cheating, actual cheating the government. And the new report from the Treasury Department shows that the worst tax cheats are the wealthiest 1% of Americans. And I know I'm going to get people saying, oh, you're a liberal, Howard, you're a socialist, you're a whatever. I've said it before, I have no problem with the wealthy at all. I hope to be one someday. My time is running short. The clock is ticking on that, but I still, hopefully, someday will be really wealthy. So I have no problem with wealthy people. I do not. But when you hear that statistic, the top 1%, the wealthiest 1% of the country, are the worst tax cheats, to the tune of $163 billion in taxes that they owe the government each year, that they cheat us out of. Now, the Biden administration is proposing putting an additional $80 billion into the IRS over the next 10 years to hire more enforcement staff, improve technology, all those kinds of things. And yet there are some, primarily Republicans, I'd hate to make everything Democrat-Republican, but primarily Republicans, who don't want to increase the funding for the IRS. The IRS is considered bad people, right? They're the jackbooted thugs and all that kind of stuff. They come to steal our money. No, they come to collect the money that the law says is owed to them, to us, as the government, and they come to collect it from people who are willfully withholding that money. And you can't help but wonder, Republicans saying, we don't want to put more money into enforcement. Is it because they know the worst enforcement, the biggest enforcement needed, is against the very wealthy? I often talk about the wealth gap. Again, my standard line, you all have heard it before. I don't have a problem with people being wealthy. It's not wealth that concerns me. It is the wealth gap that concerns me. We have we have a small number of very, 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 very rich people. And then we have a much bigger number of really, 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 really poor people. And those of us in the middle class are declining. It's that gap. If you look at a graph, it's that gap in the middle that concerns me. There also is a tax gap. They call it a tax gap. We, the people, tend to pay our taxes. Biffy, you pay your taxes, right?
Yes, I do.
I don't like it. In recent years, because of my own stupidity, and I'm not going to go into it, but it's my own stupidity. But in recent years, I have had to write a moderately large check to the government every year. But I take my taxes to my accountant, take the info to my accountant. He gives me a report back and says, write this check. And I wouldn't think of not doing it, because I guess I'm a wimp. Because I know that whatever those statistics on audits are, I'd be one of them. If I tried to avoid paying, I know I'd be the one. Mr. Monroe, excuse me, IRS here. We'd like to look at. So I pay my tax. And most of us do. Most of us do. If we can find little ways to save legally, we do. Take child care credits and, college tuition credit taxes and all stuff. But we pay our taxes. But the tax gap is we pay and the super wealthy don't. New report out from the IRS. I found it interesting. I don't know if you will or not. We are going to talk about 9/11 next hour with the guy who was right in the middle of it, former Congressman Bob Ney. He's coming up next on the Watchdog Morning Show. It's 8 o'clock.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Sherry, Preston.
And maybe since you're going to be leaving pretty soon, just bring me a can of pops. I'll have one. Please.